Hey everybody, welcome back to video number 2 on vitamin D cofactors. If you haven't already watched the first video, go back to my channel and check out the first video, which is vitamin D cofactor number 1. This is video number 2. Anyways, with that being said, let's move on. Alright, so I'm actually going to start off with vitamin D Wiki this time. I know last time I started off with the PubMed one, but this time we're going to start off with vitamin D and vitamin K. It says Giganti et al. Showed that supplementation with vitamins MK7, D3, and a combination of both was able to modulate the expression of genes involved in both mineralization and angiogenesis. Now you might ask, well, what's mineralization? All right, so what is mineralization? And this is in relation to bone. It's the process of deposition of minerals on the bone matrix for the development of bone. Well, you might ask, well, what's angiogenesis? It's the formation of new blood vessels. And moving on, and that vitamin K, MK7, enhances vitamin D effects on osteoblast precursors, mesenchymal stem cells. The study reveals a novel and potent effect of vitamin D3 in association with vitamin MK7 in inducing bone development by mesenchymal stem cells. So what this is saying is basically that MK7 is necessary in vitamin D3 supplementation for the development of new bone structure, and also for the development of new blood vessels as well, which is pretty cool. I found that very interesting. So anyways, let's move on to this research article I found on PubMed. It's called The Combination Effect of Vitamin K and Vitamin D on Human Bone Quality. It's a meta-analysis of almost 1,000 individuals, like 971. And meta-analysis basically just groups together a whole bunch of other studies and kind of just looks at the overall, well, what did they find? And then it comes up with its own conclusion at the end of it. And so this was a meta-analysis of 8 randomized controlled trials. And this was published in 2020, so this is pretty recent. But anyways, I'm just going to look at the conclusion here. The combination of vitamin K and D can significantly increase the total BMD, which is the bone mass index, and significantly decrease undercarboxylated osteocalcin. And a more favorable effect is expected when vitamin K2 is used. So right there is saying K2 is important in combination with vitamin D. All right, so anyways, moving on to this next one I found in the National Institute of Health. It's called the Synergistic Interplay between vitamins D and K for bone and cardiovascular health. This one was in 2017 was when it was published. I just found it interesting because it says vitamins D and K are both fat-soluble vitamins and play a central role in calcium metabolism. We know that magnesium is also important for calcium regulation as well, but now it looks like it's saying also vitamins K is also important for the regulation of calcium. Vitamin D promotes the production of vitamin K-dependent proteins, which require vitamin K for carboxylation in order to function properly. The purpose of this review is to summarize available evidence of the synergistic interplay between vitamins D and K on bone and cardiovascular health. Animal and human studies suggest that optimal concentrations of both vitamin D and vitamin K are beneficial for bone and cardiovascular health, as supported by genetic, molecular, cellular, and human studies. So that's quite a few studies that they've looked at. Most clinical trials studied vitamin D and K supplementation with bone health and postmenopausal women. That's because a lot of women tend to end up getting osteoporosis later in life. So that's why they've been studied more heavily than males have. So anyways, we'll go all the way down here to the conclusion now. What exactly did they find? Well, taken together, animal and human studies suggest that optimal concentrations of both vitamin D and vitamin K are beneficial for bone and cardiovascular health, as supported by genetic, molecular, cellular, and some human studies. All right, so I just want to say this study did include a culmination of other studies that they looked at, and the ones that they looked at used vitamin K1, which is the actually coagulation vitamin 1, K1, and that's stored in the liver. Some of that gets converted into K2, but it's only a very small percentage. I'm talking like 1 or 2%. So, and then some of them did use K2 in the form of MK4, and then some of them use MK7, which MK7 is a widely studied one, and has been used in more of the well-known studies that have been looked at for K2. So some of the ones where they weren't finding much of any difference, or there wasn't any evidence to say that vitamin K helped, it might have actually been the ones that were only using vitamin K1, which I don't even know why they would use that in the first place, because that's not even the same thing as K2. So anyways, I just want to throw that out there. Anyways, that's all there is as far as the association between vitamin D and vitamin K. It's one, to make sure the calcium gets into the bone where it's supposed to be and out of the soft tissues. The secondary effect of that is, well, you're not going to calcify your arteries or your soft tissues or get bone spurs from that. What you don't want is a whole bunch of extra calcium running around your arteries or your bloodstream. There's your second cofactor for vitamin D, is vitamin K2, either in the form of MK4 or MK7. Like I said, MK7 is the one that has been used in some of the larger trials that have found huge positive benefits. So that's what I take. I take MK7. I take like 200 to 300 micrograms per day. But really, speak with your doctor if you have any concerns about starting supplementing with this, especially if you take any kind of blood thinner medication. Anyways, I just wanted to throw that out there. But anyways, like I said, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. I'll be getting the third video out here shortly. If you haven't already done so, check out my video on vitamin D, celiac disease, and the microbiome. Anyway, see you next time. Thanks for watching.